Bum, 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 bum. Hey Star Wars fans, it's your old friend Dharma Tringali here. Another one of my build videos for the Star Wars Build the Millennium Falcon model kits by D'Agostini. We are building a one-for-one replica of the prop model used for the filming of Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back. Each issue after the first is $10.99. I get every 25th issue free because of a deal I have through my news agent. So this being issue 44 and 45 respectively, and the fact that we've already jumped ahead actually to issue 46, I'm just going to give you the grand total of how much I've invested so far up to issue 46, and that is whoosh, 487 euro and 6 cents. So anyway, let's just jump right into these issues and show you what they're all about. Okay, so we'll start with issue 44. Let's take a look inside. So the first article is about the Sith Infiltrator, codenamed Scimitar, which was of course Darth Maul's ship in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. So it clearly had this very like TIE fighter design to it, but it wasn't a TIE fighter. It was you know, it had, first of all, it had warp travel or hyperspace travel, and could, you know, assumably, I assume it had a atmosphere conditions. You don't have to wear a pressurized suit or anything. And apparently it could have up to 6 passengers and a pilot. You know, has a good amount of cargo space as well. Very fast ship. Obviously designed by CNR or CNR Design Systems. So that's why, hence it has the very familiar TIE fighter shape. You know, I loved Darth Maul. I always thought Darth Maul was a badass. That, you know, I guess that trailer where he comes, the door opens and he's got the double-ended lightsaber. It really, I guess I wasn't the only idiot who was really excited about going to go see Star Wars Episode 1, but it was really cool. It also has a stealth ship, which I guess is, for its size, is a big deal because it has a cloaking device. I guess that's good for if you're a Sith Jedi running around, or I guess you're not a Jedi, but you know, some sort of Sith running around cutting people down. And they talk about what finally happened after Darth Maul had his legs chopped off, because he actually, I mean, in the expanded universe, he survived. I guess more than just expanded universe, because they show him in the Clone Wars with his robotic legs. So he survived, but his ship was taken by the Republic, and then disappeared, and then reappeared in the hands of the droids. You know, General Grievous and Count Dooku apparently were running around with it for quite a while. Interesting stuff there. So the next article is about, I'm going to butcher this name, Saleucami, which is some planet, has you know, they show it very briefly in the third Star Wars film, and I guess they used it in other episodes of the TV show. But mostly it's a farming planet, has very oddball vegetation. You see the scene right here where one of the I forget her name now. One of the Stas Ali, one of the Jedi's commanders on the planet, was killed during Order 66. And I guess I was kind of surprised to find this out, but apparently, according to this article, like, this scene has been produced into a lot of different action figures and special edition sets for the action figure series. I didn't know that. Kind of interesting. Stuff about the Battle of Saleucami. Nothing too interesting here because, I mean, it plays such a small role in the film. The only interesting thing I thought was right here, talking about how it became a fan favorite, this planet, and how many action figures got produced specifically from this one scene that lasts seconds on the screen. Then we have this article on landing on water, which shows how the YT-1300 can actually be equipped with fixed flotation pods. Here's the diagram right here. So they can be permanently installed and that makes them far more durable, or they can actually have inflatable fixtures, so you can actually inflate them when you need to make these landings on water planets. Apparently, this has been around since a very early issue 13 of the Star Wars comic book, where they land on some planet, and the Millennium Falcon actually just floats on the water. Because I guess it makes sense. I mean, a spaceship has to deal with the pressures of space, and so like to float on water is not that much of a physical like jump in logic. It could work, from a purely physics standpoint. So anyway, that's issue 44. Let's talk about issue 45 now. So the first article in the Starship fact file section of issue 45 is the Vulture Class Starfighter, which I always loved the Vulture Class Starfighter because it didn't just have like a droid pilot, it actually was a droid itself that could pilot itself in space battles. And they kind of relied heavily on numbers and maneuverability, because they had a droid pilot that could pull maneuvers that would kill a normal human being, I guess. And they also could like walk on the surface of ships, acting as like extra sentry guns, and then they could transform into line attack craft. But the problem was apparently is they have a very short lifespan, limited range, I guess you would call it. They only last like 35 minutes once they go into combat mode, and so they rely heavily on numbers and for their capital ships to get them like right to where they need to be before they deploy and do what they got to do. So that was very interesting read. This duality of their role and their very limited range. So that was the big takeaway for me about this article. I had no idea they had such a short window of time that they could operate. So that was interesting. The next article was this article called "The Riches of Mygeeto," which was obviously a planet that belonged to the Spacing Guild, the Banking Guild, and the Moon Race, as they're called, the Galactic Banking Clan, who, of course, were pivotal in the Separatist movement. This planet has a rotation period of 12 hours, and only a year spans 168 standard days. So that's a really short year. Very interesting. It's a crystalline planet, so it's very rich in crystal riches. So that's one of the reasons why the Galactic Banking Clan, it was so pivotal to to them, and it being such a valuable prize to both the Galactic Republic and to the Intergalactic Banking Clan. It was kind of like a major seat of their infrastructure and their riches. So I guess the article being called "The Riches of Mygeeto" is pretty apt. Very interesting stuff. Of course, here's what the Moon looked like. If you don't remember them from the movie, these guys. The Banking Clan supports their decision of Count Dooku. The planet did get shown again. It was one of those Order 66 scenes where we see, what was this guy's name again? Ki Adi Mundi. One of the Jedi Council members gets killed on this planet during Order 66. Very sad stuff. But it was all very pivotal to the Clone Wars, so it saw a lot of action during the Clone Wars, obviously. So there was that. And after another interesting article about this was that the Galactic Empire actually takes over the planet and uses it to bankroll their galactic empire. So it was kind of very much the Moon Race, the Intergalactic Banking Clan really got screwed over. I guess banking with the wrong side, if you will. The last article is this section on cargo pods, which obviously is not incredibly interesting. Ships use cargo pods, that's to be expected. The only interesting thing I found was this cool diagram of the YT-1300, which shows how it uses these custom cargo pods that latch on to the ship itself. Obviously slowing it down a bit, but really increasing its cargo capacity, and hence how much money it can make on a run. Interesting stuff. And then it has these tugs and these cargo pods. I don't know what video game this came from, but it was definitely a video game. There's no way that these aren't from a video game. And then they show this Gallifrey Yards GR-75 transport, which of course is a major transport vessel with tons and tons of cargo pods. So that's pretty much it. So that's it for the articles from issues 44 and 45. Let me go ahead and show you bags 44 and 45, and then we can tear them open and see what we find inside. So here's bags 44 and 45, and as you can see, obviously we have these large hull pieces that'll be in each bag. These will be added on to the framing that I put together in the last video, which is actually issue 46, but I jumped ahead, so what can you do? So let me go ahead and tear these open and show you what I find in the two respective issues. Alright, so here were the contents of bags 44 and 45, obviously these two big hull pieces as you see. And then I have these plant-on pieces, which I'll be assembling today. These will go towards the rear, from what I understand, of the Millennium Falcon, on the reverse side, the bottom half. And these are a bunch of sprues that go with those. So, and then I actually have parts to assemble the second gun pod. I have a sprue that I received in a previous issue, so I'll need that when I put this together as well. I'll be assembling that to look just like the one I had assembled in a previous video. So let me go ahead and open issue 44, and we can see what the first step is. So with issue 44, this is what I have, this main piece right here. As you can see, it's just a plant-on detail, and then I have this sprue right here, which of course is diagrammed out, and I have some step-by-step instructions on where each one of these pieces goes. So I'll go ahead and start off by trimming the parts that I need, and then going ahead and attaching them one by one and showing them what they look like when they're glued into place. So let me go ahead and glue part number 1, which of course is, as I say it, is this piece right here. Cut that off, and it glues into somewhere down here. Yep, right down here. So I'll go ahead and do that now and give you a look at what it looks like when I have that step completed. So here's the piece glued in. So next is take part number 2 and then put it where you see these two holes are there. On each piece, they've done a good job of making sure one hole is bigger than the other, so it'll only fit one way, so you're never going to be really confused which way it's supposed to glue in. So I'll go ahead and glue in part number 2 and then show you what it looks like when I'm all done with that. So I've glued in part 2 and I've already test fitted part 3. I'm going to go ahead and glue those in now, and then I'll show you what it looks like when I test fit part number 4. Alright, so there's piece number 4 test fitted. So I'll go ahead and glue that in and then show you what it looks like when I have part 5 test fitted. So part 5 and part 6 are relatively similar. So I've test fitted both of those and nothing really special going on there. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those in and show you what it looks like when I have part number 7 test fitted. So here are parts 5 and part 6 glued into place. And then part 7 is already test fitted, so I'll go ahead and glue that in it and then show you what it looks like right before I put part number 8 in place. So there's part 7 in place and part 8 test fitted. Part 8 has like a little notch that you need to identify it before you glue it in place. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and show you what the final product is once I have them all put together. So here's the completed machinery that we constructed in stage 44. As you can see, it goes in the final design something like that. We have a number of pieces right here that either came in the sprue bag or were on the sprue, and we need to hold these for a later date, so put those along with the other stuff that you have, keep it secure, and we'll use it at a later stage. The machinery from issue 45 for stage 45 construction is the same as stage 44, it's just reversed. So I'm going to go ahead and just quickly put all this together and show you what it looks like when I have the two pieces together. So you can see what the machinery looks like when it's all done. And these two pieces are complete. Now the next piece is this guy right here, which is going to go in between the two of them in a position like that. So I'm going to go ahead and get the sprue for all the plant-on pieces and start diagramming that out step by step. So I took piece number 1 from the sprue and I test fitted it into place right here. So I'll go ahead and glue that together and show you what it looks like when I have part 2, or actually part 3 test fitted into place. So here's part 3 test fitted into place. I'll glue that together and then I'm going to go ahead and repeat to the other side, which is identical. I'm going to be putting part number 2 in that same position. So there's parts 1 and 3 glued into place. There's part 2 glued into place. So the next step is to take part number 4 and glue it into place so that it looks just like part number 3. You know, you see what we got going on here. So I'll go and do that and show you what it looks like before I test fit the next piece. Even though there are 9 pieces on this sprue, just like the other sprues, we're going to leave a couple pieces to be add-on, plant-on details later. So this is part number 5. This is the last piece. I need to glue it into this spot right here. So I'll go ahead and glue it together, and then I'll show you what it looks like when I have all 3 of these machinery pieces detailed. Well, there you go. After stage 44 and 45, that's what I've accomplished. These are going to be plant-on details for the lower hole in the rear, the rear lower hole. So I'll go ahead and put these away with the rest of my other delicate pieces that I don't want to lose. And then I'll go ahead and start cracking on building that other side of the turret. So these are the pieces I got in bag number 45, and this was a sprue I got several issues ago. Back in issue 41, I built a cockpit gun control thing like this. So I'm going to build another one using these parts. I'm just going to fly right through here and just show you what it looks like when I have both of them complete, because if you really want to know, you can watch the video number for stage 41 and you can see exactly how the process goes step by step. So now I've completed 2 of the gunnery pods. Go ahead and put those right here with the rest of the things I completed today, and that put stage 45 to completion. We've already completed stage 46, which was actually attaching all the outer hull pieces to the lower hull. So we'll probably start with stage 47 next, because like I said, I'm still putting off stage 42 for now, because I'm going to try to do most of the painting in one stage. I've decided, at least. So guys, make sure to put a thumbs up down below, leave a comment for the channel. If you haven't already, please do me a favor and subscribe. Check out the other videos in the series so you can see how I got to do this stage already. And guys, like always, may the Force be with you.